How was your class yesterday? I hope that you did very well, and I'm expecting you to do your best today as well. Today is September 8th, 2020, and we are going to continue with the Unit 5 lesson and specifically reading explanations, okay? So today we're going to discuss what is an explanatory text or explanation text, and let's get started. So explanation text tells your audience how something works or why something happens. Audience can be someone listening to you, someone who is going to read your books. So it is to tell them how something works. For example, how does a washing machine works? Why did they invent washing machine? Who invented? And so on and so forth. Okay? So explanation text is to give your audience more details about a specific topic. Okay? So I will also include in our presentation four types of explanation text. We have your sequential. This details the stages in an event. Okay, so when we say sequential, this is an explanation text way of describing and explaining how does caterpillar turns into a butterfly. Understand? So if you want to share to your audience how a caterpillar becomes from caterpillar to becoming a butterfly, so you can write the stages. Okay? So again, this details the stages in an event. And what is the event? The event is a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Okay, so you should include there the first day until the last final day when it becomes a butterfly. Okay, sequential. We call it sequential. Next, we have your casual. Okay, casual details what causes the change from one stage to the next. Okay, you might be confused about this, but this one we have the cause. In here, we're not really talking about cause. Like why caterpillars turns into butterfly? That's a natural event that happens, like a baby becoming a grown-up woman or a grown-up man. Okay, it's something which is really happening. Like we don't have to have a cause in order to understand. However, when we say casual, everyone details what causes the change from one stage to the next. So, for example, voting a new president. Okay, so why do we need to vote for another president? It depends if it's for a country or we're talking about simple office or a group. Okay, but let's say for example we need to change the president. We need to vote again for a president because we have to change that elected official because his term for working in that office is over. Meaning we really have to change him. We need to find another president because we cannot really choose him again to be the president. So we need to vote. We need to choose another president. So casual details what causes the change from one stage to the next. So why? It is explaining why do we need to do something. Why do we need to vote for another president? Okay, so it's explaining to us why. Okay, next. Okay, wait, is it recording? Okay, yeah, it's recording. Next, theoretical. Details the possible phenomena behind a natural or created process. Okay, in here, it explains to us that right now this is happening because this happened before. Okay? For example, World War II. So war. We are talking about war, for example. So the war before created new government, or the war before created new states, because previously in our world history, everyone, there are a lot of wars. Okay, there are different soldiers from different places, and they want to get more lands, more people, and they want to take control of a certain boundaries. So because of those wars, we already have our modern countries and states. Okay, so this it's like talking about something that happened before, but since it's theoretical, they are basing from the things that happened before, but it's not really proven. But since they are basing these things from the things that happened before, then it doesn't mean it's wrong, it also doesn't mean it's right. Okay, that's why it says theoretical, but it's explaining. Okay, and it's not still this one, it should not be based on your opinions. Okay, no, it's based on the things that happened before. Okay, or behind natural or created processes. Natural meaning, for example, typhoon, earthquakes. Then because of this earthquake, now we are facing this problem. So natural and created processes. Next, everyone, we have your factorial and consequential. So explain effects and outcomes of processes. So this time, it will explain to you what are the effects of something. What is the effect of drinking too much Coke or soda? And if you're already experiencing that effect of soda, then how can you possibly solve that problem? Okay, so explain effects and outcomes of processes. For example, one more thing, if you did some research, an experiment, and then you found out something, then you can also include that under factorial and consequential. Because consequential consequence, like if you did something, what happened because of that thing that you did? Okay, and we have two things under factorial and consequential. Everyone, we have your scientific and we have your historical. So scientific can be for climate change. What happens? What are the effects of climate change? Historical. It's about history. What are the effects of inventions before, and these things that we are using now. Okay, so that's a lot for you today, kids, I think, for presentation number 1. So that's your explanation text. You have your sequential, casual, theoretical, factorial, and consequential. And under this, we have your scientific and historical. Okay, so that's it, kids, for your presentation number 1. After watching the video, tell me, and then I'll give you task 1. Okay, I'm back, kids. Thank you for answering task 1 of today's lesson. Presentation number 2, we're going to discuss a little bit more about explanation text. So as we discussed earlier, explanation text, we are dealing with the details about how something works and why something happens. Okay, like why do we need to protect the environment, or how do we use washing machines, how do we use new laptops, how do we use a new gadget. Okay, and also these explanation texts are commonly or mostly written happens because of this. Because it's explaining words, meaning whenever we use this in explaining something, we are trying to give more explanation. We want to give more details. We want them to understand more why something is happening, so that your audience will also understand. Because when we are reading explanation text, you have to start from the beginning and don't skip and go to number 10. Like number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You should start from 1 and going to 10. You should not count 1, 5, 6. Okay, so explanation text is also important, that if you read, you have to start from top going down or from the beginning till the end. Okay, don't skip, because every detail is very important, because you are reading something which explains something. Okay, so there you go. That's just a very short presentation for more details about explanation text. So remember, we use explaining words such as so and because. We also use or we write in the present tense, and we are mainly explaining how something works, why something happens. And that in explanation, we are aiming to give more information and to let our audience understand what we want to tell them and what we want them to learn. Okay, so that's it, guys, for our presentation number 2. I'll give you